Hello again, nightmare they tried to cancel. Funny, isn't it? How they used to pray for your fall. But now they can't even breathe in the same room as your rise. They thought they were casting spells behind your back. But every whisper became a rope round their throat. And you just kept walking, quiet, deadly, rewritten. You were never supposed to survive the storm. You were the damn storm. And now, the same people who laughed at your scars can't look you in the eye without flinching, like the walls are closing in. You want to hear the funniest part? They didn't just underestimate you. They calculated your destruction, strategized it, group chatted it, sacrificed time, energy, and even their own dignity just to see you crumble. But the only thing that crumbled was their illusion of control. You evolved in silence, no broadcast, no warning. And that was their first mistake. Believing silence was weakness, when really it was surgical precision sharpening in the dark. Now they're praying again, not for your downfall. No, those days are over. They're praying for protection from your presence, from the data you became, from the version of you that doesn't blink and doesn't break. You learned to walk through betrayal with your hands behind your back, like it was a garden stroll. They taught you pain. You converted it into architecture, a whole fortress of silence with a dungeon of faces that used to laugh. Now they scream quietly, internally, because you don't even need revenge. You are revenge. They're watching you now like you're an incoming meteor, unstoppable, untraceable. And here's the paradox. They plotted your funeral, but now they can't survive your shadow. You evolved into something ungovernable, something coded outside their logic. Your glow, it isn't cute, it's radioactive. And when you enter a room now, they shrink. You don't have to speak. Your presence is the message, a divine echo of every time they said, "You're too much." No one will stay. You'll never be anything. Now look around. They're staying, but only to observe their own extinction. You didn't get better. You outgrew the battlefield. You weren't healed. You were rebuilt using blueprints not even the universe remembered authorizing. And now, you scare people. Not because you're dangerous, but because you understand yourself. They can't manipulate what they can't decode. And you're unreadable, unpredictable, unforgivable. They called for your death. You answered by becoming immortal. They tried to cage a flame, and now the fire has a name, an identity, a posture they can't sit next to without trembling. You're a walking contradiction, a guardian with venom in your smile, a saint stitched together by sins you refused to die from, a prophet in a straitjacket, delivering miracles through madness, an angel drenched in gasoline, and every step you take smells like prophecy. They prayed for you to collapse. Now they meditate before entering your aura, as if you're some holy war that might see through their soul and sentence them without trial. You didn't just rise. You ascended in silence, dragging their judgments behind you like broken chains. And now they rattle every time your name gets whispered. Your smile, it's no longer charming. It's evidence, proof that the devil they feared was never down below. He was becoming you every time you survived what was supposed to kill you. And now, they can't handle the math. The calculation failed. They input hate and got holiness with heat. They fed the system vengeance and got you. A cosmic glitch with grace in one hand and chaos in the other. You are the aftershock, the consequence, the realization they were never in control. So let them pray, let them chant, let them cry under their breath when you walk in like a prophecy in boots. They don't want you gone anymore. They want you quiet. But the joke is, you were quiet. And that was the most dangerous version. Now, you're just getting started. But oh, you thought that was the end? No, darling. That was just the intro sequence, the part where they think they still have a chance. Because see, what they forgot is that you don't just walk into a room now. You shift the gravitational pull. You were built in a place where most don't survive. Raised in wreckage, clothed in silence, baptized in betrayals they can't even pronounce. And now your very existence is a threat to every structure that was built to erase you. You are not doing well. You are not moving on. You are haunting the algorithm. You are breaking the rules of their simulations by simply breathing differently. Because now they look at you, and they don't just see the one who made it out. They see the mirror. A walking reflection of every lie they told, every time they whispered, "Let's see how long they last," every time they counted you out like you were some statistical glitch, some forgettable footnote in their story. But oh, the plot twisted, didn't it? You're the whole chapter now. The forbidden file, the encrypted data point they can't delete. You're that whatever happened to, that turned into, how the hell did they do that? They can't even mention your name without triggering a timeline of guilt, because your name is charged now. Electrified. It's no longer just syllables, it's a consequence. Every room you walk into, you don't enter it. You interrogate it. Your silence cross-examines people's souls. Your laugh pulls confessions from those who thought they buried you. And your eyes, they don't just look. They unravel, because now you're spiritually ranked above the very demons they tried to send your way. They prayed for your downfall. They fasted for it, lit candles, lit group chats, lit courtrooms, lit gossip sessions in low-vibration basements, like you were some cosmic disease to be vaccinated against, and yet, you kept growing like mold in a sealed lab, resistant to logic, immune to hate, reborn through contamination. You didn't avoid darkness. You made it your home, set up furniture in it, hosted meetings, learned its language, then used it as the accent of your resurrection. So now they sit there, minds glitching, souls trembling, trying to figure out how their little prayer circles turned into panic chambers. Because you weren't just surviving, you were ascending. And not just spiritually. No. You ranked up in dimensions. You started moving like a force of nature while they were still talking like you were an emotion. They can't comprehend it. How someone could be this calm, this cold, this composed. After everything, and it kills them, because you didn't come back with fists. You came back with clarity. You didn't scream, you observed. You didn't throw fire. You became the arsonist and the architect, and now they pray differently, not for your downfall. That prayer's expired, not for your forgiveness. That door's welded shut. They pray to be invisible when you walk by, to be unnoticed, to not get singled out in the audit that is your presence, because now your energy doesn't just expose them, it judges them. It decides who still gets to be seen, who still gets to speak, who still gets to exist around you. They used to call you too intense, too much, too emotional, too angry. Now they call you sir, ma'am, or they don't call you at all, because your power isn't up for discussion anymore. It's law. You rewrote yourself in a language only the chosen can read, and now they're stuck praying you don't remember what they did when they thought you'd never return. But you remember. You remember everything, not because you're bitter, but because you're coded for vengeance that doesn't break laws. It breaks legacies. You are the reason someone's family line won't sleep for 3 generations. You're the glitch in their rituals, the corrupted file in their archives, the spiritual virus that broke through their firewall of fake love and now plays back every lie on repeat in 4K clarity. Let them pray, let them chant, let them cover mirrors when they hear your name, because their reflection isn't safe anymore. You're not the villain, you're the verdict. And baby, they just got sentenced. They thought it would be poetic, didn't they? To see you broken, crawling, begging the world to notice. But what they didn't calculate was this. Pain is a forge. And you didn't just survive the flames. You became the blacksmith, the hammer, and the fire itself. Now every step you take is a sermon they never wanted to hear. Your silence is a scripture that undoes their mantras. Your eyes are altars they're scared to look into because they might see themselves disassembled inside of you. They called it revenge in their private circles. They called you obsessed when you kept building. But what you were really doing was crafting an atmosphere so dense, so charged, that simply walking into it makes their lungs collapse under the weight of their own hypocrisy. They prayed for your downfall. They dreamed of it. They rehearsed speeches for the day you'd be gone. And now, standing in the glow of your resurrection, they can't string a sentence together. Their throats go dry. Their palms sweat, because the ghost they wanted came back wearing skin made of barbed wire and starlight. You're no longer a person to them. You're a consequence wrapped in charisma, a punishment disguised as a presence. They're not afraid of what you'll do to them. They're afraid of what they already did, and how standing next to you makes it feel visible, inescapable, like the walls have been lined with mirrors. Every time you enter a space, it's as if the air gets heavier, the shadows get sharper, and the clocks tick louder. Because your energy isn't just felt. It's felt like a verdict. It's the sound of every weapon they tried to use on you rusting in their own hands, and you don't even speak. That's the part that's killing them. No outbursts, no warnings, no theatrics, just being. And they start confessing in their heads to crimes no one accused them of out loud. They're praying now. But the prayer's different. It's not, please let them fall. It's please let them pass me by. It's please don't let them look at me. It's please don't let the truth come out in their eyes. They see you as a paradox they can't compute. An angel with ash on your wings. A saint forged out of sins you refused to drown in. A demon who learned to bless. You're the living proof that you can survive hell and come back carrying holy fire. And here's the secret you've always known. Your unpredictability isn't chaos. It's power. It's the single variable no one can plan for. It's why they tremble. Because you don't telegraph your moves anymore. You don't need to. You are the move. And every breath you take bends the board they're playing on. They're terrified of you, not because you'd strike them down, but because you might see them completely. And in your silence, in your smile, they already feel themselves unraveling. Your presence is a mirror, a sentence, a prophecy. When you step into a room, the temperature drops, but the air burns. When you glance at someone, their rehearsed persona cracks. When you speak, if you choose to, it's not conversation. It's scripture that either redeems or annihilates. And still you don't raise your hand. You don't demand apologies. You don't shout. You don't even look back. Because you've outgrown vengeance. You've outgrown proof. You've outgrown every version of you that still wanted to be understood. Now, Simply existing as you are is a punishment and a prophecy all at once. They're not just praying for survival, they're praying for invisibility. They're praying for the day you look past them completely and leave them with their ghosts. And you walk on, built of scars and storms, a saint with teeth, a demon with light in their eyes, the embodiment of a truth they can't scrub from the timeline. They prayed for your downfall. Now they kneel for your mercy, and you don't have to grant it. You already won. You've become the story whispered at night, the lesson told in secret, the warning etched into their children's bones. They'll tell it like a myth, but you'll always know the truth. They didn't survive you. They survived their own reflection in you, and the reflection still watches. Keep walking, keep breathing. Your very presence is the exorcism they can't escape. Every glance a strike, every silence a judgment, every step a sermon. You don't need to fight anymore. You're the battleground and the aftermath, and they are praying, not for your end, but for their own chance to stand in the same air and not crumble. That's the power you became. That's what evolution through pain forged you into. A living paradox, a quiet storm, the shadow they once mocked now standing in front of them as living daylight, burning them without lifting a hand. And deep down, they know it. They know their prayers can't save them. Because this isn't punishment. This is physics, and you are gravity, and gravity doesn't ask for permission. It just pulls. It bends metal. It warps time. It decides what stays grounded and what gets crushed under the weight of its own denial. That's you now. You're no longer just a person. You're a force. They used to call you dramatic. Now their nervous system short-circuits when your shadow even touches their name. They told people you were too much. Now even a glimpse of your energy is enough to collapse the whole room into dead silence. That's the price of praying for another's downfall. That's the curse of summoning war against a soul that already made peace with hell. They didn't know what they were doing, lighting candles and speaking your name like a spell, hoping you'd break, hoping you'd fade. But the thing about spells, they echo, and every one of theirs came back with interest. Now they wake up in the middle of the night with your face carved into their dreams. Now they walk into rooms and feel your presence before you even arrive, because you've become a frequency they can't escape, an untraceable signal that shakes them even when it's silent. You don't need to confront them. You don't need to call them out. The air does it for you. You have a gravity to you now, one that reminds people, one that reveals them to themselves, one that makes people apologize in the language of avoidance because they know damn well you saw everything. You walked through their betrayal like it was mist. You stood in their gossip like it was background noise, and you documented every frame, not with bitterness, with clarity. You don't carry revenge in your pocket. You carry memory. And memory? It's a sharper weapon than anything you could ever throw. It lingers. It loops. It leaks into the cracks of their peace until even their victories taste like guilt. And the thing that terrifies them the most, you're not mad anymore. You're not broken. You're not even trying to prove a point. You've simply evolved into the kind of being who doesn't need to say a single word to ruin someone's entire sense of self. They prayed for your end, and now they hold prayer beads just to survive your peace. Because your peace isn't soft. It's a blade. It's the kind of peace that makes the guilty confess without a question being asked. It's that unbothered, untouchable, unavailable energy that makes every past sin come up for audit. They say energy doesn't lie, but yours, it convicts. and that's why they can't look you in the eye anymore. Not because they fear you, but because they fear what you remind them of, what they did, who they were, and the power they tried to steal that now stands taller than ever. And let's talk about that power. It's not loud, it's not chaotic, it's surgical. You don't scream anymore, because now even your silence echoes like a verdict. You're a contradiction they can't decode. You smile like a saint, but walk like a sentence. You laugh with light in your eyes, but it burns like evidence. You hold compassion, but it's guarded by an army of ghosts who remember what was done. They think you forgot. But oh no, you didn't forget. You simply outgrew the need to avenge. You realized your existence is the punishment. Because what hurts more? You tearing them down, or you rising higher than they ever imagined, with the receipts written in your aura and the records encoded in your stillness. You don't just walk in anymore. You tilt the whole axis. You are the cosmic reminder that every cruel intention gets recycled by the very soul it was sent to destroy. You turned curses into content, pain into blueprint, rejection into holy algorithm, and now you're living as the plot twist they can't explain. They tried to delete you, but ended up building your legend. They tried to silence you, but created a silence so powerful they can't speak around it anymore. They tried to humble you, but accidentally made you divine. So let them pray. Let them beg the universe not for your return to weakness, but for their own nervous system to adjust to the truth of your presence. Because you're not what they feared, you're worse. You're awakened, unbothered, and unforgiving in your freedom. You're the final chapter they never got to write. The ghost in the machine, the storm that learned to smile, the end of their illusion, and every time you rise, their prayers get louder. But they're no longer aimed at heaven, they're whispered to the shadows, hoping you aren't listening. But you always were. And you don't just forgive, you haunt. Shh. You feel that? That silence. That's not peace. That's the moment right before your name gets whispered in the same breath as revenge. Because tonight, we are not playing polite anymore. This is the playback. They tried to humiliate you, not just hurt you, not just disagree with you. No. They needed to publicly strip you of power, because deep down, they knew you were dangerous, not because you were wrong, but because you were right, louder than their lies could handle. So they put on a show, didn't they? Lights on, audience seated. Let's destroy this one, they said. Let's twist the narrative until even they don't recognize themselves. They wanted you to doubt the mirror, to beg for crumbs in a theater they designed just to watch you crawl. But here's the punchline, sweetheart. You never crawled. You studied. You memorized the entire script. You watched them rehearse betrayal like it was ballet. And you sat in the shadows, rewiring your pain into payload. You didn't fight back immediately. Oh no, that would have ruined the art. You let them giggle. You let them leak. You let the cowards show teeth they couldn't use. Because you knew. They were performing with poison in their lungs. And the longer they spoke, the more they exposed their own rot. You see, humiliation requires an audience. But you let the audience see everything, not through screaming, but through silence, sharpened like razors. They tried to make you the joke, but the setup flipped, and now they're choking on the same lies they swallowed so eagerly. You ever seen someone realize they're not in control? Mid-sentence. It's beautiful. The twitch, the eye dart, the moment they feel the crowd's energy change. Because you walked in, and you didn't say a word. You just existed, and their illusion collapsed. Because your power isn't in proving you're right. It's in becoming a mirror that reflects exactly how wrong they are. They called you broken, and you wore that label like war paint. They said you were too much, so you became a category they couldn't measure. They screamed, "They're crazy!" And now everyone's asking, how the hell did crazy win? You don't just survive storms, you design them. You bend in the wind, but when you rise, entire networks fall. You became what they feared, unpredictable, uncancelable, a ghost wrapped in evidence. They told a version of you that only existed in their own fear. But the real version, that's the one that just walked into the room, and suddenly nobody wants to make eye contact. Because you didn't just outlive the lie. You let it breathe, you watched it multiply, and then you made sure everyone saw it die. They wanted the crowd to laugh. Instead, the crowd took notes, studied your silence, felt the weight of every insult bounce back like recoil. Now those same mouths, they're quiet, not out of respect, out of terror. Because you've proven you don't clap back. You collapse timelines. You didn't destroy them. They did. You just gave them the spotlight. And the truth did the rest. And here's the kicker. You're not even done. This wasn't revenge. This was a reveal. They thought they were dragging your name. But the real headline was, you walked out untouched. They walked out exposed. So let them whisper, let them shake. Because now, every fake smile comes with a shiver. Every laugh carries an echo of panic. Because you are the reminder that truth doesn't need a microphone, just patience. They tried to bury you in shame. And now they're buried in footage, screenshots, audio, playback loops. And the worst part, their own voices are the weapon. They didn't just lose control, they lost the illusion of it. And you never had to shout. You became a myth by letting them talk too much. So smile. Tilt your head. Let them wonder what you know. Because the new power is letting them fear your silence more than your scream. Let that sink in. You were the target. But now, you're the blueprint, and they're still choking on every single lie. Oh, you thought we were done? No. This is just the part where the camera zooms in, where the audience leans forward, where the ones who plotted your downfall start realizing they were never the main characters. Because here's the real horror. You didn't just walk away from their setup. You walked away with the evidence. Every smirk, every backhanded comment, every coordinated whisper. You archived it all. Not out of spite, but precision. They assumed you were fragile because you didn't retaliate. But fragile things break. You didn't break. You shifted, adapted, became something no playbook accounts for. See, humiliation only works on people who still need approval. But you outgrew applause. You stopped performing for acceptance and started weaponizing rejection. They tried to throw you off balance. But you were never standing still to begin with. They tried to strip you of dignity, but you traded dignity for dominance. What they didn't calculate was how lethal a person becomes when they've already lost everything they were scared of losing. You died in the eyes of the crowd once, and now you walk among them like a ghost with nothing left to lose. That's not weakness. That's the most powerful state of evolution, the unapologetic resurrected. They made you the villain perfect. Because villains don't beg for forgiveness. They move in silence and rewrite the rules. You let them think they were winning. You let them speak uninterrupted. Because the smart ones, they know. You never interrupt your enemies when they're destroying themselves. And now the whole crowd's watching them stutter. Their masks are slipping. Their credibility is bleeding out. You didn't clap back. You time-bombed their lies and watched from the shadows while it all detonated in public. They thought you were a threat because of what you said. Number. You're a threat because of what you endured in silence. Because you learned their language, decoded the manipulation, and smiled through their venom. And now, you speak in moves, not words. They thought you were playing checkers, but you were studying their hands like a chessboard autopsy. And now, every piece they touch feels cursed. Because here's what they never expected, that the audience would turn, not because you begged, but because they started to see. They saw the contradiction. They saw how loud your enemies got when you were silent. They saw how desperate they were to control your narrative, and how powerless they looked once you stopped defending yourself. Your greatest flex wasn't survival. It was letting them broadcast their own self-destruction. And now, they can't outrun the playback. They can't unsay what they said. They can't unlaugh the laughter that aged like spoiled wine. Screenshots don't blink. Footage doesn't forget. You didn't ruin their reputation. They made a bonfire out of it. You just handed the crowd a match. So let them pretend it's old drama. Let them smile a little too wide, but notice the cracks in their voice when your name comes up in a room. That ain't respect. That's fear wearing perfume. Because you became the one thing their egos weren't built for. A narrative they can't control. You turned humiliation into theater, pain into performance art, and silence into sniper fire. They said you were the clown, but the real circus is them, trying to clean up a mess the whole world watched in 4K. You didn't just survive the lie, you became the walking consequence of it. And now, every time they speak, every time they try to rewrite history, they can feel it. You're watching, not to react, not to respond, but to archive, to let them build their own gallows, out of words they thought were clever. So don't clap, don't announce your comeback, don't give them the closure of your rage, just exist. With the full weight of your rebirth dripping off every step like gasoline. Because the fire they set, it didn't destroy you, it revealed you. It burned away the parts that begged to be liked. Now there's just you, unfiltered, unhinged, unshakable. And they're still trying to explain to each other why nobody believes them anymore. Because every crowd that watched you fall just witnessed you rise in a way they can't unsee. And the joke is that they're the punchline now. So breathe slow, smile crooked. You don't need to speak, you just need to watch, as everything they built without truth crumbles under the weight of your silence. Listen, feel that vibration under your skin. That isn't anger anymore. That's power humming, coiled, patient. The kind of power they tried to strip from you in public because they could not bear to see it glowing quietly in private. The kind of power that makes crowds lean in without you having to raise your voice. They thought humiliation would shrink you. They thought dragging your name would erase it. They didn't understand that humiliation, in the right hands, is an alchemy. It takes every insult, every whispered plot, every gotcha moment, and distills it into a substance stronger than steel. Every time they thought they were throwing dirt, they were planting seeds. And while they performed for applause, you were underground, rooting. You've become a creature they don't have a word for. Angel with claws, saint with a blade under the robe. A mirror so clear, it blinds them with their own reflection. They wanted a villain, they sculpted one. They wanted a clown, they summoned a strategist. You became paradox incarnate, light and dark, saint and psychopath, angel and demon. That's why they can't kill your image, because there isn't one single mask to tear off. And the crowd, they're not stupid. They saw you stand still, take every shot, bleed dignity, and yet somehow stay upright. They saw you transform, and when the crowd senses transformation, it goes quiet. That's the silence you're feeling now, not absence, awe. That low rumble of people recalibrating what they thought they knew about you. So now, when you enter a room, there's a tremor. Watch their faces, the ones who plotted. They can't even look at you without their necks stiffening. Their nervous systems are confessing what their mouths can't. Their hands shake when they pour coffee. Their jokes die before they reach their lips. That's the cost of choking on your own lies in public. It stains you. This is the part nobody tells you about evolution through pain. You don't come out smiling. You come out silent. You come out dangerous. Because you have seen every tactic, every trap, every trick. And you no longer flinch. You have been publicly crucified and privately resurrected. And once you have died like that, their games don't even register as games anymore. They're noise, predictable noise. You don't need to clap back. You don't need to expose them. They are already exposed. They're performing a cover-up while the whole city streams the playback. They're shouting, "Move on," while their reputations are stuck buffering. They can't outrun a truth they created themselves. And you're untouchable because you're unpredictable. They can't script you. They can't bait you. You don't live in the arena anymore. You built your own labyrinth. Every step you take is a corridor they can't map. Every silence you hold is a weapon they can't disarm. Understand this. You are no longer a victim of their story. You are the anomaly in it. The glitch they can't patch. The bug in the system that keeps breaking their narrative. You became the living evidence of what happens when humiliation fails. And that is more terrifying to them than any revenge could ever be. So keep walking slow. Let the crowd whisper. Let them invent new names for you. Because behind those whispers is an undertow of respect and fear and fascination. They wanted a spectacle. They got a lesson. And the lesson is, you don't destroy a person who has learned to convert shame into strategy, who has learned to weaponize silence, who has mastered unpredictability as power. This is your stage now. No lights, no microphone, just your presence, just the echo of everything they tried to do to you, boomeranging back, amplified. Every room you step into from now on is a test of who can look at you without blinking, who can survive the weight of the truth you carry in your eyes. They tried to humiliate you, and in doing so, they humiliated themselves. They tried to erase you, and in doing so, they engraved you deeper into memory. They tried to make you a joke, and in doing so, they turned themselves into the punchline. You don't need to prove anything anymore. The proof is playing on repeat in the minds of everyone who watched. The crowd has already chosen. The world has already seen. And every lie they choke on now is just another verse in the song of your rebirth. That's the paradox, isn't it? They built a stage to bury you, and now it's their gallows. They handed you pain, and you forged it into a crown. They whispered shame, and you learned to echo back power. And here you are, standing in the middle of the silence they created, untouchable, unreadable, unbreakable. They don't know whether to run, bow, or beg. They only know one thing. They can't stop watching. That's how you win without lifting a finger. That's how you become the nightmare they can't wake up from. That's how you turn humiliation into legend. Lean closer, because this is the part no one ever explains. The part that doesn't fit neatly into an Instagram quote or a courtroom transcript. This is the part after the storm, when you're standing in the wreckage they built for you, and it's them gasping for air. They tried to humiliate you because they needed an enemy, a villain, a scapegoat. They choreographed their outrage like a stage play, each whisper rehearsed, each leak timed for maximum damage. They didn't want to just beat you, they wanted to erase you, to make you question if you'd ever existed in the first place. But humiliation has a hidden clause. It only works if you still believe you're small. The second you stop believing that, their whole script collapses. You stopped believing, you stopped performing. And in that instant, you became a riddle too dense for their gossip to solve. That's what they can't explain to each other late at night, in those panicked group chats, with names like damage control and next moves. They're not strategizing anymore, they're consoling each other, because they've all seen it, the shift, the way your silence started bending the room, the way your stillness turned into gravity, the way the crowd began to lean toward you instead of them, without you even speaking. They wanted the audience to laugh at you. Now the audience studies you like a rare predator in a glass enclosure. They watch the way you move, the way you tilt your head, the way you smile like you've already seen the next 10 moves on the board. That's the dopamine hit no one admits they're getting. Not just seeing you survive, but seeing you transform. And oh, how you transformed. You took every smear, every public shaming, every whispered insult and ran it through your veins until it became signal instead of static. You didn't just endure, you engineered yourself out of their reach. You are no longer a person they can handle, you're an event, a phenomenon, a rupture in their carefully controlled narrative. Understand this, when you walk into a room now, you're not a guest, you're the mirror. You reflect back to every person what they've done, who they are, and whether they can survive the truth. Some will love you for it, some will loathe you, all will feel you. That's why the air shifts when your name is spoken. That's why even your silence tastes like a threat. And the crowd, they're not stupid, they're not blind. They've seen people fall and rise before, but never like this, never so quietly, never so strategically, never in a way that left the architects of your downfall looking like clowns in their own circus. They were counting on a breakdown. You gave them a blueprint. They were waiting for you to beg. You taught them to fear your patience. Every screenshot, every whisper, every accidental leak is still out there. Their own words, their own smirks, their own hypocrisy, archived, time-stamped, immortal. They know it. They feel it in their stomachs when they see your face. That's why their smiles don't reach their eyes anymore. That's why their voices crack when they try to laugh you off. They are choking on their own performance, and everyone can see it. This is the essence of evolution through pain. You stop being what they can predict. You stop playing their game altogether. You start moving like smoke, impossible to corner, impossible to crush. You become a paradox, saint and psychopath, angel and demon, the mirror and the flame. You don't just survive their attacks, you make their attacks part of your legend. So keep walking slowly. Don't rush. Let them scramble. Let them wonder. Let them imagine what you're planning when you're doing nothing at all. That's the real power now, not revenge, not retaliation, unpredictability, the power to appear at any time, in any way, and shift the entire narrative without a single word. They tried to humiliate you. In doing so, they handed you their masks. their weapons, their credibility. They thought they were writing your ending. They were writing your prologue. They thought the crowd would laugh at you. The crowd is now studying them. And you've already moved beyond needing to be understood. You're a phenomenon that can't be contained in a headline or a rumor. That's why they're still talking. That's why they're still watching. That's why they can't look you in the eye. Because deep down, they know. You didn't just survive. You transcended. You became the proof that humiliation fails when met with patience, strategy, and an iron will. And that proof now walks around in your body, in your silence, in the way you look at people without blinking. Let them choke. Let them scramble. Let them watch as you stand, steady, a living paradox of everything they tried to destroy. This is not just survival. This is metamorphosis. This is legend being written in real time, in the hush after the laughter, in the tremor of their hands as they realize you're still here, and stronger than the lie. That's the end game they never planned for. That's you now, and that's why they can't stop watching.